It doesn't feel like it started. Did it start now?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yeah, it says
Like, how
live.
sure are we that? But that could be a lie.
It
Should
could
we
be.
give it a second?
I mean, why
This
not?
is our okay. Should we check YouTube, or
We
should we
could.
just go? I mean,
Yeah.
if someone's watching this, then they can just let us know. All right, so here we go. So when Kevin has to edit this is probably going to end up at the end of the show because that's how he works. So, hello, gamers and non-gamers alike, to another Psvg Ot. I am your host, Coach Hulk, the Big Goat Connoisseur, and I want to start today off by thanking you for your feedback and love. We appreciate it so much. Joining me today is Nathan, but you can call me Daddy Thomas, because he's the future father, folks. And Dev, my Gallahorn brings all the boys to the yard. Tyus. I spent hours on that. I'm real proud of that one, folks. You better. I'm hoping you're laughing in your car right now. There's breakfast burrito falling in your lap. How we doing today, gentlemen?
I'm tired.
we got it tired. How you feeling, Dev?
I'm chilling, man. I'm good to go. It's much earlier here than it is there, so I can understand you're tired.
It's a crisp 11:51 here.
That's the best time to start a podcast. I read it in the podcast magazine, written by me.
Oh, okay. Hey, by the way, my subscription lapsed on that, and I sent up an email, and they never responded with me about trying to re-up it. Can you talk to somebody about that?
I can. See, the thing is, our tech support just goes to the trash can. We feel that that's the best way to get through stuff. So I hope you guys had a wonderful week. Dev, anything special happened to you in the last 7 days, big guy?
Special? No. Life happened, but other than special, nah. I just been, playing games, playing Destiny, because I can't shake that habit. No, nothing else special.
No? All right. Big Nate, how about you, sir? How's your week been?
Not been too bad. So my wife had a baby shower thrown for her today, so that was fun. I was the only guy there, but it was okay. She wanted me there anyway. I was like, do I need to go? And she's like, I want you to. I'm like, okay. So I was there. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, is just let her direct me. So yeah, there we go. That's what we did today. That was fun. This past week has been a whirlwind for me personally at work. It's been a lot of work. So it's nice to be the weekend, although the weekend is almost over. Boo.
Oh man. So I'm sorry, it just popped in my head. For the lady, it's the baby shower. So like when you have one, is it a baby bath, or do guys not get one of these?
We don't get one, as far as I know. I'm trying to get some guys together one of these nights and just get some like whiskey or something and just have a whiskey night.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I feel like my baby showers, it was just co-ed because it's both your babies. It's not like
it's a team baby, right? I mean, it takes two to make it. I'm not 100% sure on that, as I don't have kids, but I assume it takes two people to do it. Like I'm like 47.5% sure.
I mean, technically it does. I mean, but really it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you
I'm
could.
not a doctor, but I feel that that's wrong, and you should have a Nate baby shower for you. Because it's 50% your baby, I think.
Is that a baby shower where they like send me all kinds of gaming related stuff because they know I'm going to need it?
Yes, there we go. So is that a gamer shower?
Ooh, there we go. I like it.
Something just got invented.
That's what
that is awesome.
I'm here to help, folks. I'm here to help. My week was really great until Sunday night. I had a great Saturday. Did the podcast. It was our first one. Like I got off of this surface of mine hype. I was like, man, that was the best. I had such a good time, even if no one listens. And then Sunday, we got some shout outs. Monday, we got some shout outs. Tuesday, so many people commented. But my Sunday, I get a text message. Hey, Coach Mo, we need you to cover 9th grade volleyball for the rest of the week. I don't know nothing about no volleyball. And their practice is at 6 a.m.
Ooh.
Can you just tell them
starts?
Just tell them to spike the ball and win, right?
Oh,
that's all you gotta do.
It was a tough week for me, but we got through it. Now, to recap, this show is built around two main ideas that I had. One is I want to share awesome moments where we get to know the group as people, get to know us better. Those are my favorite moments from other podcasts like Unlocked, when we get to know about the host, what Ryan's going through, what everyone's dealing with. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is I like to make sure that my guests are not prepared at all. So, gentlemen, the question I'm going to keep asking, did I in any way, shape, or form prepare you for this podcast?
None whatsoever.
Yes.
Actually, you did send me something in the mail, and it was a treasure map. So was that for tonight?
No, that's actually for the baby shower. You were supposed to use that today. It was supposed to lead you to gaming. I'm sorry, we got relayed on that. That's on me. That's on me. So like last week, we didn't prepare you guys. So today's memory is twofold. First, we want you to talk about a moment when you recovered like a boss, and a moment where your recovery skills were lacking. So I'll go first to kind of let you guys have some time to simmer on it. A moment where I recovered like a boss. It's 2 years ago. We're in the gym. I'm playing hoops against one of my guards, and I'm going down. I'm giving a little move. I'm putting a little shake in it. I'm having a good time. I'm looking good. And I go up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little stank in this dunk. It just feels right. And I go up, and boom, and I land. And as I land, I hear this cracking noise. Like, we are talking like I thought I broke a hip. Like, I legit thought that something bad had just happened to my body. And I look up, and the whole backboard shattered.
Oh, wow.
Now, I put a picture on this on Twitter a couple years ago. I think it's still up there. It didn't shatter where the glass came out. It just did the whole where the glass just, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
At that moment, I had two options. Get hype so the kids didn't realize that Coach Mo just broke the hoop and he gonna have to pay for that out of his pocket, or go, oh no, and just worry about it. So I just put the worry down, put the fear down. Yeah, get some. Y'all can't bring that here. Scariest moment of my life. I was like, I'm about to get fired for breaking the basketball hoop. This is not going to end well. It did end well for me. I was okay. I still got the job. And the moment where my recovery skills were lacking, this actually happened a couple weeks ago. I'm playing flag football, and I'm going out there, and I'm not in cleats. Ooh. All right. And one of our football girls, she's on the football team, very good athlete, really shifty, great volleyball player. She breaks down. And let's just say my non-cleated foot decided it was not going to plant. It was going to slide. And so it basically looked like she shook me and broke both my ankles, and I hit the ground. And I did not have the fortitude to be like, no, coach is okay, man. I'll get the next one. Nope. I laid there going, why? And she still has not let me live it down. And I'm sure that she'll be writing in questions and embarrassing me about it later. So that is a moment where I recovered like a boss, and the moment where I did not recover so good. Nate, let's hear your stories, man.
So I'm trying to think about this, and I am not an athletic fellow. So I don't really have recovery stories as it relates to sports. But when I was thinking about it, because, I don't go down, man. I don't go down. I don't need to recover. No, I'm just kidding. But when I'm thinking about this, something that I think would relate is when I was, how old was I? 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there. I was heading to work. I worked at Best Buy at the time, and it was a little bit rainy day, and I like to drive a little fast, just kind of cruising along the way, not too far away from the home just yet, still kind of in the area. And I guess I'm going a little too fast. It's a little rainy outside, a little misty, and I go around a turn in my 97 Nissan Sentra. Shout out.
The best of the Sentras. Just want to point that out.
The first car that I owned. My first car, ladies and gentlemen. And I proceed to slide, like uncontrollably slide. Like, and I'm not going too fast. I'm going like maybe between 0 and 5 miles over. But it's around this turn. And it's kind of a sharper turn. It's not quite 90. But it's around that, that degree. and there was oil on the pavement from like motorcycles and stuff or something else. There's just like some oil on the pavement, and it gets more slick, more viscous around that point. So you just slide. So I am in this slide, and I proceed to hit the curb, and the whole car goes like this. So it's laying on the passenger side. Driver's side up is vertical, right?
What?
So during this whole time, kind of funny. I like this to add this out because this was the best CD player I evidently ever had. I was playing some Star Wars music, as I do.
Okay,
probably
that makes sense. No one here was surprised by that. No, we were. You were playing Star Wars? What? Man, that's crazy.
I believe it was the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack. And
movies.
Back then, I was when I worked at Best Buy, I blew my money on car audio and things like that. So, anyway, I was playing that. It did not skip. Kept on going. So I had some fantastic music going, but I decided to turn the car off because I was like, I should probably turn the car off just to make sure the engine doesn't like catch on fire, explode or something, right? So I'm like, well, turn the car off, figure out, well, I guess I got to go up. So I open the door, hop out of the car, and I just kind of stand there for a second, and someone comes out. I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What's up? I was like, I wasn't
my car's facing the wrong direction. It's on the y-axis, supposed to be on the x, but I'm good. Like nothing's wrong.
I was just like, can I just maybe push this thing over and it'll go? And I was like, well, I should probably just let it lay because I don't know if I push it over, if it cause more issues and stuff. So I just put it there, and I'm just waiting around for. I call my dad. I was literally like 2 minutes away from the house. Call my dad. Happens. He comes out and he's like, blah blah blah, and then police come out and everything, whatever. I didn't really like it was fine. Like I didn't remember even getting a ticket or anything, but I just walked out there. I just remember climbing up out of the car, just hopping out of the car and just walking like, what's up? Car like this. I'm all right. What's going on, guys? I recovered, right? Is that the recovery? Does that count?
Yeah, that is recovering like a boss.
That is the most boss recovery.
Yeah.
And then I proceeded. That car got totaled, by the way.
Of course, so, yeah. It is sideways at this point in time.
Sideways. I proceeded to, go to the junkyard afterwards and grab my subwoofer out because that was important. And I got my CD player out because, A, it had my Star Wars CD in it for one thing. And for the other thing, it didn't skip. So I want the CD player back.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously getting that. And I get a new car, a 2002. So I go 5 years newer, a Chevy Malibu with a V6 engine. Oh, yeah. Ooh. So not only did this happen, but I upgraded in the process. So, but yeah, that I guess that was a recovery of sorts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm behind it. Dev, recovering like a boss, and where your recovery skills are lacking.
Recovery like a boss. I mean, that one is like Nate, man. I don't get knocked down.
I guess it's just me then.
Only thing I can really think of is sports related. Okay. Backyard, playing basketball, playing some hoops with just, my neighborhood boys. Playing hoops as we do in the backyard. It's one dude named Joey. He's probably the only person back there that could ever really be on my level when it came to hoops. Just because he was pesty as all heck. Like his defense, like he's got those hands, like he's got them hands. He's always trying to get at you. So he's either gonna get, crossed up real bad, or he's gonna rip you because you're panicking. So with him, he also had he had a deadly jumper. Like if you left him open, he was knocking it down. So you gotta kind of play up close. But he can dribble well enough to get by you if you're too close and you ain't really paying attention. So what he was able to do, I was up a little close. He got me with a little crossover, but I can jump. So as he's getting to the hole, he thinks he's got an easy, uncontested layup. No, off the backboard. Get out of here with that.
Oof.
Yes, not in my house, bro. So that'd be like the time I recovered like a boss, and I did that to him repeatedly. I would just let him go by me and just block it because I'd rather do that than let him shoot a three. So
yeah. No, of course.
You think you're going to go by me, I'm going to let you go, and then we're just going to bait you and take that. kind of like playing corner. You just bait him into the interception. Got him, coach. When I didn't recover so well, I'd have to say this was in college playing intramural basketball. All my stories revolve around basketball. Ridiculous. Playing against the track team in intramural basketball.
Ooh.
Not only are they fast as all hell, but they can jump. So this is just we're just outmanned as it is. So we're going down an O, we get a turn, we turn the ball over, and it's basically a fast break. I'm a guard, so I'm already at the top of the key. So I'm trying to get back. Well, unbeknownst to me, the dude that cherry picked is like the high jumper. So this fool's got actually he's a long jumper. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So he's got
high jumpers are dirty already. I mean, those guys jump 7 feet in the air.
Yeah, this fool's he's got boosties. So not only do I get the lob thrown on me, and I jump like an idiot, I come down on his foot and twist my ankle.
Oh no! Insult to injury.
And not just a bad twist. Like I got up and I finished the game out, but I had to go to the hospital because later on that night I could not walk. We're talking strained ligaments. Like I had to be on crutches. So yeah, I did not recover like a boss too well there. It was bad. Got the lob thrown on me, twisted the ankle, strained the ligaments, and we got beat by like 20. So it was all bad.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Best intramural team I ever played against was a swim team.
What?
I swear to you, every one of those dudes was already yoked.
Right.
Their teamwork was insane. And so like after the game, like we play them, and again on my team was 2 former basketball players, me at 6'8", and I'm like, we have a good squad. I'm like, and we're after the game, like, y'all were insane. Defensively, they did everything right. Like the offense, like they weren't super talented, but they worked so well together, like they were scoring. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm asking him, like, why? And he goes, when you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and swim for 3 hours till your body aches, coming out here in the court's nothing. And I just sat there looking at the guy going, really? Is it that hard? And then I went and watched, and I was like, oh my God, like my body hurts from watching you work out. Yeah, you're right. Because you can do it. Man, we should take those swimmers out. They can do whatever they want, man. They're next level on everything.
That's crazy.
It was insane. Just the teamwork they had was crazy.
Now, see, I never played against a swim team, but the most like just ridiculous team I ever played against in intramural sports, football and basketball, was the deaf team.
Oh yeah,
because their communication was insane. Like I'm talking, like they always knew where everybody was, everything that was going on the football field or on the basketball court. And you just see them making signs, and it was poetry in motion.
Yeah,
I mean we beat them, but it was still poetry in motion.
All right, now we got some questions for today from my students, and a couple of these were actually throwbacks to the podcast, so it made me really excited that they were listening. The first one is from Big T, who is actually really short. I don't know why she calls herself Big T, but I'm going to let her have it. And she wants to know, what was the most disappointing moment you've had in gaming? Nate, what's your most disappointing moment, big guy?
You're muted, Nate.
I think I muted myself there. Sorry, my bad.
It's all right.
That was my most disappointing moment.
It just happened.
It just happened. Okay, so I don't know. So there's a few things that come to my mind when I think of disappointing in gaming. So I don't know. Can I just like give a few?
Yeah, you go ahead. Listen, the thing about this podcast is we are not as organized as say some of these other fancy podcasts. We've got literally 4 things on this list, and we just talk and have a good time. Feel free. Diverge a little.
so one thing that always comes to mind when I'm disappointed with gaming is I bought a game. I pre-ordered it nonetheless. a game because it was like, oh, this sounds really fun. It sounds, interesting. I think I want to kind of try something a little different because, it's kind of in that rut where I was playing, open world games all the time, or not. That's not a rut, but in that groove, I guess is a better way to put it. Where I'm playing tons of open world games, I'm playing shooters. Those are kind of where I'm venturing towards. But I was like, you know what, this game sounds cool. It sounds like a game that I want to at least try. And I think if Dan's listening, he knows exactly where I'm going with this right now. But there's a game called The Escapists. So I pre-ordered this game. I was like, sounds cool. Sounds like a game I want to play. Jacked for it, right? I even stay up to play it. I think it unlocked like 9 o'clock my time or something like that, or 10 o'clock. And I loaded up and I'm like, what? What is happening here? What is going on? Mo, do you even like the game? I mean, I know you own it, but do you like it?
This is actually Escapist 2, which is better than Escapist 1 in my opinion.
Well, I mean, anything would be better than the Escapists 1 because it's terrible. It's an absolute piece of... Anyway, I was super disappointed by it. I played it for a while trying to figure out, okay, I just need to give it some time, let it grow on me, make sure I understand the mechanics, but just nothing took to me. And that was just like my first real disappointment for a game that I pre-ordered. It was my first digital pre-order as well. So I had all these things going on. I was excited. I was jacked. I was wanting to try something new, step outside the box. And then I realized I shouldn't step outside the box because it's nasty. You know what I mean? So that was one thing when I think of disappointing is just, I think that game just wasn't for me. And I mean, it's for you, Mel. Obviously, you own it. It's not for me.
I currently own every game that's been physically released for Xbox. All games are for me. There's no line here. I just play them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Another disappointing thing, and I mean, this wasn't really an experience per se, just for me. I mean, this is a lot of people had the same, I'm sure, thought or disappointment. But a while back, there was a game announced and it was demoed and it was pretty far along. We saw it for at least 2 E3s, like actually being demoed. We saw a nice long demo one year, and then all of a sudden it was canceled. And that was Star Wars 1313. And you guys know I love me some Star Wars, and I was jacked about this game. I was super excited for it. I was watching everything. I was like, this looks like Uncharted, Star Wars. It looks fantastic, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
And it was long away, and then all of a sudden, hey, Star Wars just got bought by Disney. So I was like, okay, that's okay, right? We're getting more movies, woohoo! And then they're like, goodbye, Lucasfilm. I was like, what? First off, Lucasfilm was doing good work there towards the end. They had the in-house studio. They had Skywalker Sound, Lucasfilm Animation, and LucasArts right there on the same campus. They were working together to make these games like The Force Unleashed. Those were all in-house, same campus games doing all facets of the game. It was a work of art.
Yeah.
And I saw those demos for 1313. I was like, this is going to be fantastic. This is next gen. I mean, at that point we were talking, this is going to be next gen. This is going to be fantastic. Right. And, it was everything that it looked like we wanted. And later on, we found out more about the game. It was supposed to be a Boba Fett story, and you were going to like grow into the character. And I became even more disappointed, and just one of those things where give me a time machine. Let me go back and talk to somebody in the studio and be like, you guys, no, I know you're worried about, possibly having an M-rated game under the Disney store. But, it's okay. Just let it happen. Let it be natural. It may not even get rated M. Who knows? It could just be teen. So I don't know. I was just super disappointed by not being able to have that. And then, as of late, bringing it to current times, I was also stabbed through the heart, as it were. And it has to do with the closing of Visceral and the change of focus of Amy Hennig's game that she was working on for years. It's Amy Hennig. Yeah, it's Amy Hennig, so it's going to be a great story. And it's Visceral Games, so it's going to have quality mechanics. And they said, in the press release, this was turning out to be a single, linear focused story. Perfect. That's what I want. Give it to me. And they're like, so we canceled it, or not canceled, but we're shifting focus. And I'm like, no. I mean, it's as if, thousands of fanboys were suddenly cried out in silence or cried out in anguish and disgust. And
way to go.
It's just, I was disappointed. I am disappointed. And, they are changing to be more of this games as a service thing and all that, yada, yada, whatever. Just give me awesome single player stories. You know what I mean? Look at The Witcher, game of the year. Fantastic game. Everybody loves it as from the fan point of view. And that developer, everybody loves that developer because they're upfront about everything, right?
Mm-hmm. All that free DLC, man.
All that free DLC. All those tweaks, all those enhancements, and they're going to give 4K support and Xbox One X support and PS4 Pro support. They don't have to do that. They don't have to continue supporting this game. It came out 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
But they're supporting it, and people are still buying the game because they haven't played it yet, and they're able to get the entire game for $20, including the 2 expansions, which is insane for the amount of content you can play. It's on sale right now, by the way. If you have not played this game, this is my PSA. Buy it, $20. Just do it. Don't think. Just do it. Go to the store, whatever one you work on, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, it's all there. Do it. Anyway, and for you, Mo, did you know that if you played the first one, but you decide to buy the Game of the Year edition, which is on sale for $20 with the expansions, it is a new set of achievements.
What? Time out, what?
So if you played through the original release, even the expansion on top of that, and got all those achievements, but then you go and get this new the Game of the Year edition that's on sale for $20 that includes I think it's 2,000 gamer score with all the extras. It's all there for you, baby, right there. Okay.
That's a beautiful sentence. That's Shadow of Mordor good.
Oh, that is Shadow of Mordor good. But anyway, I just wanted to stop talking now because I think that this is super disappointing. That I understand EA's got to make money, but come on now, you were close to release, you were close to being done. It just feels like you're gonna throw all that money down the toilet and spend more money to try to make something to release. And it's going to get terrible reception. Already, it's going to get terrible reception. So, bad move. You disappointed us all. You failed us. You have failed this console generation.
Knowing me, it'll be like my favorite Star Wars game.
It probably will.
I'm like, run around and shoot stuff. Cool, let's go. Dev, most disappointing moment in gaming.
It was for me, the most disappointing moment in gaming was a little game on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System called Bubsy.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. No one should know what it is. It was that bad. I don't know what led me to believe that this was going to be a good game or why I was hype on it. I remember seeing it on the EGM cover way back in the day when, video game magazines were still relevant other than Game Informer. And it looked like it was just going to be, something like along the lines of a Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario Brothers type game, but it was starring this cat named Bubsy who had a little bit of an attitude. I was like, oh, this might be cool. Picked it up. Probably the worst game I've ever played in my life. Like, it was just that bad. The mechanics were terrible. Like the timing for the jumps, it was just a pile of garbage. And I hated myself for asking for that game because, of course, it wasn't my money because I was like 10 or 11 when it came out. And I had that game, and that was like the only game I got for some time. And I had this piece of trash game that I wish I never, ever laid eyes on. So that's probably the most disappointing moment in gaming for me. But I definitely have to echo the cancellation of 1313 and then the closing of Visceral. That means we get no more Dead Space. Dead Space was awesome until they ruined it with 3. Dead Space 1 and 2 were awesome. And then 1313, like the grittiness of what that game was going to be, the underbelly, the seedy underbelly of Star Wars. Man, that one hurts. That one hurts. You just had to bring that one up, Nate. Ugh. God, that hurts.
I told you, man. Then, disappointed echoed everywhere. Like,
yeah. And then
I didn't even know it was a game. I'm feeling really dumb right now.
Oh my God, it looks so good. It looked like it was going to be the one. We're still waiting on the one as far as I'm concerned with Star Wars games.
I mean, I loved both of the Force Unleashed games. They were fantastic.
I did too.
But for this generation, we're not. Yeah, they're not canon anymore for sure.
Yeah.
But I wish they would bring the Old Republic actually over to consoles.
I'm saying, like, why not do that?
Just do it.
Do that. I don't even want to know what they're doing with Amy Hennig's game. Like, I don't. If they're turning it into like a Destiny like games as a service, I'm like, you already have Anthem. Don't do that with Star Wars. Stop it.
Yeah, like, that's what I was thinking too. And they said they want to turn to games as a service. And like, you guys have Anthem coming out,
right?
That's
like,
really fine.
I'm over here feeling like really sad because my favorite Visceral game is still Battlefield Hardline, and everybody else thought that game was sucked. I loved it. I enjoyed the story. I played right through that bad boy, and I'm like, well, Battlefield Hardline's not going to come back, guys. Anybody? No.
You know, it looked like it was fun, but I never played it. I never got into it. But I was like, oh, this is like a cops and robbers game. That could be really fun.
The story was great. I love that story.
I wasn't gonna play the multiplayer, that's for sure. But the storyline looked like it was cool.
Now, Big T, my most disappointing moment. I actually texted someone and said, "You need to listen to the podcast on Tuesday," and she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because you're about to be in this." At this point in my life, I think it's like 2012, 2013, I've never listened to a podcast. I've never read a video game magazine. The only games I was playing was Madden, COD, and Assassin's Creed because it helped me connect with my kids, my students. And so when all this happened, when all this was going down, I go into this GameStop in Orlando, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a game to play, something new. And they go, I've got this great new game that's coming out. It's huge. It's got this and this. It's called Fuse. So I pre-order it. And I come in, I pick it up. And I go home and I put it in and I start playing. And I finish 10 minutes later, put it back in the box. I drive back over and say, no. You lied to me, Jocelyn. You know what you did was wrong. This game sucks. She's like, well, you just got to give it a chance. I'm like, no, that was a chance. That was 10 minutes. That was 10 minutes, Jocelyn. That game was awful. So she took it back, gave me my money, and I walked away. I'll never forgive you, Fuse. I will never forgive you.
Well, at least you could get your money back. I couldn't get my money back on The Escapist.
That was tough. Yeah. That was a tough moment. Our next question comes from Sarah, which dives into more tough moments, which I'm realizing my kids are going through some stuff and they want to know from some people they trust. She asks, if you could go back in time and redo one thing, what would you do different, Nate?
If I go back in time and redo one thing... You know, I'd probably try to go back in time. And I'm assuming this is just about yourself and then not like, hey, go back in time and stop Hitler or something like that, right?
Yeah. So about you. One thing in your life.
I would go back and talk to my younger self and be like, yo, dude, listen. You don't need to eat all them Cheetos right now. You need to just put down that bag of marshmallows right now. You just need to stop. You need to go outside and move around a little bit more. Because 30-year-old you is going to be like, hey, why didn't you do this? So I'd go back and just try to talk to myself and be like, look, you need to like eat vegetables.
Yep.
Don't just eat those fried potatoes. Those don't count.
Nope. It's a weird thing.
But I would just be like, just take care of yourself a little bit better. I don't think I had an appreciation for that when I was younger, because you're young and you just don't think about that. But it's something that forms you physically for the rest of your life. And it's something that if you want to try to change and you don't do it early, it's going to be quite difficult and a struggle for the rest of your life to deal with. So if I could go back and educate myself, I would say, eat a carrot. It's still orange and crunchy.
Pay attention to that, Josiah. I'm getting to your question next. I'm just saying. Dev, what would you go back and change?
I think the biggest thing that I would go back and change would be to stick with playing basketball, honestly. Basketball is like my first love. When it comes to everything else, like basketball is the one thing that's like basketball is life. Everything else is just details. Yeah. But I stopped playing and ended up playing football instead. Just after some weird life stuff that happened. It was just one of those things that was associated with something that I just wanted to disassociate myself with, and ended up finding a newer group of friends that were really into football. So I ended up playing football. And while I was good at football, I was a starter pretty much all throughout high school on both sides of the ball, captain and all that. But just the love that I have for basketball and just how much I loved it and just every day wanted to play basketball. It was like one of those things, like during the summer, like all I did was play basketball sun up to sundown. And I really wish that I would have just gutted it out and played in high school. Played like during the summer, found like an AAU team or something, and then played in high school instead of just playing football. That'd probably be the one thing that I would go back and change if I could, because basketball is life. The rest is just details.
Man, my kids are going to love that. Appreciate it, Dev. For me, when I got this question from you, Sarah, you guys all know, my students know me pretty well. They know I don't have a lot of big regrets. But as I thought about it, there was one that if I could be assured the outcome would stay the same, I would change one thing. And it would be I would have gone to the University of Hawaii instead of OSU. And the reason why I turned down the University of Hawaii was because in my neighborhood, had I said I was going to go be a fighting Rainbow Warrior, I would have got my butt kicked. Like, it just would not have ended well for me. They'd been like, "You're going where?" "No, I ain't going to work, coach." I put too much emphasis on what the neighborhood was going to think over what was best for me. That was an amazing facility, a wonderful coaching staff, and it got me far away from home and the negatives. So if I could be assured that I would still meet Miss Mahoney, I would still be coaching these wonderful kids that I work with, then that would be the one big thing I would like to change. So, all right. Our next one comes from a name that I couldn't read on the piece of paper when it was turned in. So this is for unlegible name. Unlegible? Legible. Is there two L's? I don't know.
It's illegible. I think.
Illegible. That.
You could just say
to the cat who couldn't write their name. And they want to know what game moved you. So, Dev, what game have you played that moved you?
A first game to actually move me and make me feel anything. Final Fantasy VII. I don't know what it was, if it was just the time period, just how long the game was, or the fact that, I could put my name in there instead of it being Cloud, that gave you that kind of ownership of the character. But spoilers, when Eris dies,
dude, that was like a 2-second spoiler warning. Not even that. That was like a millisecond.
Who's Eris?
Final Fantasy VII? How Eris? It's I don't know which one
But
they call her.
it, man.
But who is it?
Are they?
She dies. Hey guys, she dies though.
She dies. Yeah, she dies.
So does Farah in Overwatch. Spoilers.
Huh. Well, I didn't know that, but whatever.
Dude, they all die. It's the way you play the game.
Oh, good point.
Thank you.
Touché, sir.
Hey, but I thought heroes never died.
Oh man.
But yeah, man. She was like she was my healer. I guess you can kind of have her however you want to be when you have your play through the game, but she was my healer. And the way she died and she dropped my super healing materia, which also pissed me off. But the way she died was just ridiculous. Like, you just felt it. Like, she gets stabbed something ridiculous by the longest sword in all of gaming, and then falls, and it's just like, oh God, why did you do that? She's gone. Like, she's really. And I mean, for the longest, there were all of these like crumbs and like trails and ghost stories of, oh, you can find her, she's not really dead, or if you go here at this time and you do these certain events, you can see her ghost or stuff like that.
Because their uncle worked at Sony, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, my uncle works at Sony, or just whatever, just all kind of. This is like pre-internet, which is the funny part. Like, how did we even get these stories? But yeah, man, that game, it was just something about how well written that game was, how well the characters were done for that time period. That game just really, really, you know, did something to me. I really, really felt it. Like, I felt a part of that game. Like, that was my story. It wasn't Cloud. It was me. I was in that. I was going through that, and it was just, and it's long as hell. So that's another reason. Like, I played it for like an entire summer, and that game just gave me all the feels. And I've been waiting for a remake forever, and it looks like I'm just going to continue to be waiting for a remake forever, because I don't see it coming anytime soon.
Nate, games that moved you?
Oh, so I'm not going to say Final Fantasy, but it did. Obviously, Dev, you already covered that one well. I'm going to say Dance Dance Revolution. It said I had to move around and hit the pad and the buttons in the right succession of the order, right? Can that count?
I'm going to count it. If that's where you want to go.
Nah. I mean,
you wouldn't be the cat who gets real literal. Well, that's on you.
If you mean it did it move you? Physically, you that would be the moving, right? Or is it emotionally? We don't know for sure. But the primary definition of the word move is physically moving from location A to location B, which would be, in fact, DDR. No, okay. So I'm gonna go with. There's a lot of games that have moved me, honestly, because I'm the story guy. I love games for their story. I get invested in the characters. I love exploring the content and, you know, just finding things along the way. One of the early games to do that, and did it really well because it used a license again that I love, and it was the first time I played. Really got into like these branching RPGs, and it was by BioWare, and it was a fantastic game. First time I ever played a game by BioWare, and that was Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox, original Xbox. I still have my copy somewhere in this room. That game, you know, it puts you in as the main character in a Star Wars game, which, you know, you could play as Cal Katarn and stuff like that before, but it didn't have the impact when you played like Jedi Outcast or Jedi Knight that you had with Knights of the Old Republic, because you could forge your own destiny in a way.
Yep.
You made your choices. You could be good or bad. You built relationships with the characters, or they could leave the party. Like, it was, you know, that there were characters that you could play the game and never even get them on your crew. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was great. You could actually form relationships with characters in the game, and you know, there's that big twist and reveal, and just it was fantastic storytelling. And you know, however you decided to play out your game, there's that final climactic battle that just depends on how you go, how your reaction is going to be, right? And there was a lot of times in that game where when you talk about something that moves you emotionally, not physically. When you talk about something that moves you, it elicits a response, whether it be, you know, a feeling of despair, loneliness, lost, joy, you know, laughter, things like that. And this game had it all. It had, oh man, what am I going to do? This is a gut-wrenching decision. It had, that was a hilarious line. I did it all for the Wookiees. What? The Wookiees. There was so much in that game that just, it was perfect for me, and it is still perfect. Like, I would go back and play it on the iPad every now and then because it's out there. I wish they would remake that game And when I say remake, I don't necessarily mean like Final Fantasy VII and whatever they're doing with that, but like just, you know, try to give it an up-res treatment and put it out in the current consoles, because that is a fantastic game. Make that canon. I'm talking about Star Wars a lot tonight. You know, it's on my mind, but make that canon, because that'd be great. Because that game, it's a investment in time, and every time I played it, and I played it at least 40 times for sure, something I found, something new, something different, and that was amazing to me. Going through the same storyline, but having different abilities or options open up to me, or things that I can do differently. It was so grand in the scale, and it still sticks with me as one of the best games I've ever played. Even though there's probably better games now, technically, you know, from the graphics side and the precision side and voice acting, that whatever. But that game is legend. So that is the game that I want to shout out, that moved me, that I thought was fantastic on every level. And I wish people would be able to go back and play that, which, coming soon to Xbox One original backwards compatibility, you might be able to.
Heck yes. Had you asked had I been on this podcast yesterday, my answer would have been called Fragments of Him. It's an amazing story, one of those ones that just ripped me to shreds as I finished it, and I talked to you about it. I shared it with, we have an LB JG2Q group that meets to help with our kids who have different sexualities and different orientations as far as their sexuality. And I shared that game with them, and we actually did a play together, and they loved it. And that would have been my answer. However, today I 1000'd a game called Beyond Eyes. And in that game, you play as a blind girl who's looking for her lost cat. Her cat had run away. And you go through the game, and you're doing these puzzles, and you're solving things, and you're trying to find your furry friend. And I will spoil this, so you will hear the ending right now. So if you don't want to, take 3 seconds, pause, move away, mute me, back up. But at the end, you find out that this journey she's been on is her overcoming the grief of her cat dying, of her pet dying, and that relationship. And so the people who know me, who know what's going on with me lately, the idea of losing a pet strikes me real hard. And so I'm talking, I finished that, I want to say about 7 o'clock today. And that moment, literally, I just had to take a break. I went downstairs. I gave my puppy Bear a big hug and a kiss. I gave Daisy a nice long belly rub and made sure they knew that I love them so much. So right now, Beyond Eyes would be a game that just moved me. Just got me. All right. Now we're going to move into something a little more fun. Last question is from Big Guy Josiah. Love this kid. And his question is, after hearing the last show with all the food tips, what is the best and the worst meal you've had? Nate, we'll start with you.
I recently had a really good meal. And I don't know if it's just because it's, you know, stood out to me because it's recent or what, but it's at a restaurant called Roy's, which I think there's more than just in Hawaii where I was at, where I had this particular restaurant. No, wait, sorry, it wasn't Roy's. Oh, okay. There's 2 restaurants. I gotta shut both out. Okay. So Roy's had fantastic fish. I had this fish called butterfish. That is the absolute best fish I have ever had in my life. Butterfish, find it, eat it. It is fantastic. But the best meal award goes to a restaurant called Chai's, and the chef's name is Chai, and it is like, you know, just a one-off restaurant in Honolulu, and it's fantastic. Like the presentation, the meal, the food that I had, it was just all so good. The appetizer was amazing, the drink was amazing, everything about it just all coalesced and became this fantastic dinner, among the best I've ever had, if not the best. And it was just so good. The only thing that could have made it better is if it was butterfish. And What I had though, I can't even hardly remember. I just remember it being so dang good. I know there was risotto, and I know there was more than just. It was some sort of fish because I was in Hawaii and I wasn't going to eat like meat, like cow, because I get that here and it's really good here. But yeah, so that was fantastic. It was really good. And what was the flip side of that question?
The worst meal. But before we go into that, because this is PSVG Ot, and I don't do the whole Googling thing, what's a risotto? Like, what is that?
I don't actually know what risotto consists
Is it like
of.
noodles or is it cheese?
It's like a noodle, I think.
Okay, that's all I need. I just need to know if I was in the right place. Like in my head, I was seeing something different. I just want to make sure I was okay. So worst meal you had.
All right. Worst meal I had. Have you ever had? And I'm not gonna. I don't think the whole meal wasn't like bad. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna go worst side I've ever had. Burnt Brussels sprouts. So
Yes,
Brussels sprouts, when prepared right, taste delicious.
Nope. Still in the horrible column.
Negative. I'm sorry. Anything with Brussels sprouts in it, that's wrong.
So the first time I ever tried it was with HelloFresh, and I would never try it beforehand. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I want to try some Brussels sprouts and just kind of see what happens. First time I had it, it was fantastic. It was really good. Prepared well. Everything was great. Honestly, I never would have tried it before, but it's like a small little head of cabbage, and if you just prepare it right, it tastes really good. But if you prepare it wrong, or if you prepare it too much, if you burn it and you try to eat that, it is it's terrible. It's nasty. Just don't even do it. So that's one thing. So charred Brussels sprouts, terrible side. Never eat it. And there's a restaurant, and I don't know if it moved or if it closed, but here locally, my wife and I went there for our anniversary dinner because we heard it was really good. This Italian restaurant, and I can't remember the name of it. Doesn't matter. But we went there right as they were opening for dinner service. And our meal included a salad, so we got a salad, and the salad had like wilted lettuce and stuff in it, or it's like
old
lettuce. So that was
that restaurant now.
I know. So and the music that they're playing is just like you could tell it was from like an MP3 player, and it was just generic.
Weird Al's popping in the middle of something romantic.
It's just like this generic Italian music, it's just super cheesy. And then they bring out the meal, and I ordered like the shrimp pasta or something with seafood pasta, and it was like they overcooked the pasta, so it was like waterlogged. You know what I mean? There's like just too much water in the pasta, and the sauce was just like a little too thick. The whole thing was like this thick mess. Like if you twirled your fork around in it, you pull it out and you have like a lollipop of whatever this is, and it was just like bad texture, bad flavor, and just was not good on any level. And to make matters worse, that's where we went for our anniversary. Ooh. And so it's like, well, this is a failure. So later on, like a couple days later, we went to like I don't know a steakhouse and got a decent steak because that first experience was just not that. So, but anyway, that was a terrible meal. Like, if you're gonna be an Italian restaurant, learn how to make pasta. I mean, that's basic, right?
Seems like it.
You would think so.
You boil water, you strain it out, and you're good. Just don't boil it too much. It's like Brussels sprouts. Don't cook it too much.
Or just don't eat it. Dev, what was your best meal? What was the worst one, bud?
So I'm racking my brain because I am not a foodie. So trying to remember
just wait
meals for me.
Just wait for what I'm about to say.
Man. I want to say that probably my favorite meal was actually this stuffed French toast from oh god, I can't remember the name of the restaurant because again, I'm not a foodie, but it's a stuffed French toast that has like a sweet cream cheese, strawberries, blueberries, all just baked in. It's delicious. And you know, for me, you know that my food is good when I've got completely silent and then my food is gone and you look up and you still have half your meal. And that's what happens every time I get this French toast. Everybody's trying to share meals and stuff. My meal is already gone.
Everyone's
And
passing around, talking,
like, wait,
taking glasses, and you're just
I'm done. Like it was just that good. The worst meal I've ever had. Yeah, they're getting. I'm like, can I get another? And it's already just. That's how good that French toast is. I love that stuff. I'm big on just sweets, so that it's always gonna go to sweets for me.
I had French toast today. It was fantastic.
I'm jealous. The worst meal I've ever had. I'm just gonna say anything with Brussels sprouts because those things are gross and wrong. I'm sorry, there's no correct
They're
way
extremely
to
healthy for you, and that goes back to put the Cheetos thing down because you have to eat them now because you did when you were young.
I'm not. No. That's a negative, sir.
With you.
That's a negative, sir. The negative goes for the pattern is full. We're not messing with Brussels sprouts. So that's what I'm gonna go with my worst meal ever. Anything that had a Brussels sprout on the plate. That's
okay.
Getting
Hold on back. So before we move on from this food topic, this was my meal, the best one.
Okay, that looks beautiful.
It's like scallops and risotto, and it was fantastic. There was mussels in there as well. Oh, so good. And then I wanted to show you because
my wife would like that. I'd pass.
Oh, but it's so good, dude. You don't even know. You need to try it. This was the other meal that was like 4 fish. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's 4 fish. And then there's rice in there too, and then there was some sake and some other stuff because that was a good date. But the fish on the, I think it's the one below the rice in that picture is the butterfish. Oh, so good.
I know my wife has had butterfish, and she said that it was amazing. And I think it was while we were in Hawaii, so that sounds about right.
It's so good. Anyway, my bad. I had to share what it looked like at least because it was good. And I had really good sushi there too. Oh, a good sushi though. Good sushi is a fantastic meal. All the time. I had some good sushi with our buddy Dan too. That was pretty good. I had some other good stuff with him, but yeah, not bad.
For those of you who are listening to the podcast, Nate just showed us pictures on his phone of food. Some of them were colored with red. Some were yellow. I saw some whites because I want to make sure I'm helping you out. Those were what the pictures were of the food. So in case you just got real confused for a minute, let's say you were like in and out of the pod for a second and you're like, what are they talking about? We were just looking at pictures. So I've just wordalized the pictures for your brain. You're welcome, listener. You're welcome.
And since you did such a good wordalizing, I want you to wordalize this picture.
Star Wars is good and stuff. Did I do it? I felt like I did good there.
KOTOR.
What's a KOTOR?
Knights of the Old Republic.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Here it is for the people that are listening. It's this little meme. It's just we're in Psvg Ot. Anything goes. So the meme is the D&D guy that says like, you come across frightened younglings. What do you do? And then it's a picture of Anakin.
No.
I attempt to console them and calm them down. And it has a picture of a dice and he rolls a 1.
No.
And then it's a picture of him lighting his lightsaber at the temple. And the little kid's like, Master Skywalker, what are you going to do?
Too soon.
Oh, that's good. I've never seen that one before.
Now, back to my food stuff. I got this. All right. So my worst meal. Now, again, I'm a football player who's been a defensive tackle for a number of years. So I'm going to tell you right now, I have not had a lot of bad meals. Not because they weren't good tasting or they weren't bad tasting, because I had to get the calories in one way or another. So I've been married for almost a month. My wife knows that I have got to get 9,000 calories in a day.
What?
So she goes down to Walmart. It's a lot. It is a lot. So she goes to Walmart. My beautiful bride. We've been married for a month. I'm in training camp. Okay, I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do, eating what I'm supposed to eat. She goes down, she finds the pancakes that have the highest amount of calories. Thinking, I'm going to help my man. He loves pancakes. I like to make the pancake. I used to do honey and jam mixed together. I'm not a big syrup fan, but my buddy Josh actually told me about this. I do peanut butter now. So I do a little peanut butter on top of the pancake. It's amazing.
Hey Mo, sidebar. You said breakfast and you said honey and jam.
Yeah.
Have you, when you're in Chicago, ever been to the honey jam?
Yep.
So good. Sorry, we were talking about food, breakfast, honey and jam. It had to come out.
Yeah. So I used to do the pancakes, the honey and the jam, and I'd smash through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever the number was. So my wife finds the one with the most calories, trying to help her man stay big. And she makes these for me. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I got practice at 8. We get up early. I'm smashed. I'm like, this is a pretty good pancake. Like, it's different tasting, but it's okay. And I get to the gym. I take my protein shake. I go in. I'm getting my lift in. Practice starts. Getting ready to go to practice at 8. Be out in the field. And I walk out the field and I hear this gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. My stomach is not okay.
Wait, was it like
no
gurgle, gurgle, gurgle?
It
like
was
Mario theme.
It was one of those things. My stomach was trying to tell me, listen, man, if you do not find a toilet, bad things are about to happen. It is going down. Literally, it will go down. And so I sprint back into the building. I go to the bathroom. I come out. Literally, the moment I stood up, had to go again. This goes on for the rest of practice. Like, I'm sick. I go home. And I'm like, what is going on? What is wrong with me? Like, am I got the flu? I look at the box. They're fiber 1 pancakes.
Hey, at least you had some bulk, right?
It took me, I'm gonna tell you, I was dehydrated that night. It took me 2 days to get back to normal. Like, and she was so sorry. So I'm gonna put that as my worst meal. My best meal, my kids already know the answer. Chicken tacos, as long as they are done properly. A good chicken taco is in a hard shell, and there is more cheese to lettuce in the ratio. Like, it doesn't have to be super heavy on the cheese side. It can be light lettuce with a little bit extra cheese. That's fine. But if you give me a whole bunch of lettuce and 2 things of cheese, we have a problem. That is not a chicken taco. Like, there's an issue. The cheese and the chicken, they are inherently good together. So I love me some chicken tacos. I will have chicken tacos any day of the week. I'm about it. So, well, with that, guys, that was our last question. This is another episode of Psvg Ot. Any final thoughts today, Dev? You good? Dev?
I am chilling. Sorry, I was on mute there.
That's all right. We've all been there.
No, no final thoughts. Things are good. This was a great time. I love these intimate fireside chats that we have with a little bit of ridiculousness spruced in. Glad to be here with you guys. Glad to chat it up, man. Loving it.
Amen. Nader Todd, how about you, big guy?
Thank you for having me tonight. It was fun. Mo, I think you do a fantastic job coaching this Psvg Ot. I thank you for putting me in, Coach. I was ready. Come off the bench.
I was ready to play.
But yeah, this was a fun time. I love having the questions from your kids, and shout out to them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Mo as much trouble as you can. And assignment for you kids: throw all the dodgeballs at Mo. Like, just throw them all. Whenever you see a dodgeball and you see Mo, throw it, chuck it, do it.
He's a large target. You shouldn't miss.
I dare you, kids. I dare you. Y'all know how strong Coach's arm is. I dare you to do that. Come on over.
Coach is beating kids like half the school away, just hitting them all the way across the wall.
But you see, when you do it, just be like, Nathan said I can throw it at you. Boom. And it's okay.
Yeah, he did, but he ain't here. Oh, man. So this is our second episode of Psvg Ot. I wanted to put you guys on the docket. We have some amazing guests coming. We have the Girls on Games coming. We've got some other people in the works, and I'm so excited to get to chat with them and be a part of this thing that I love, that I'm so passionate about getting to do with you guys. And so to wrap it up, that's game over. Have a great night.